What's up, people? Today we're going to talk about pain and what we do with that pain. But before we get into it, I did something stupid. So here's the story, people. Basically, I got the bright idea today, and I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to tell you that right now. To fly a drone within 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, and of course to get footage of me. Now, it didn't even do that. But because it was unmanned, it drifted off to the side, and it crashed into the lighting scaffold. And there was only one guy, they didn't have a ladder, who could bring the scaffolding down to get the drone. And so on that note, this is today's podcast now. Welcome to the Daily Awesome Podcast. Steve Mayeda here. We're walking in the woods, and I want to talk about pain. We talk about pain a lot on this podcast, but I want to talk about what we do with pain and how that affects us as a man. See, I was talking to a client this morning, and we got into this concept. Both of us were talking about the pain we feel and the ways that we deal with it and how that shapes us. And what I mean by this is perhaps the pain is financial, perhaps the pain is physical, perhaps the pain is emotional, it's from a relationship. But throughout our life, we're gonna have pain. We can't avoid that. The pain is real. But how one deals with that pain, the difference between me being in my excellence and me being in my weakness, is how I deal with that pain. And I brought up this example, well, actually quite recently I dislocated my foot, and I could use that as an example, but I brought up this example to him of that, let's say I lost $2,000. I have no money. My family can't eat. I've let my family down. I've let myself down. I'm at a point of starvation, and that's pain, that's panic, that's for real. And one of the things that I said is the things that made me the most respectable man, that gave me the greatest qualities that I have to speak for myself, aren't the things that would get me those $2,000 back right away. So for instance, perhaps I pick up the phone, perhaps I get with my community, perhaps I get some perspective. Perhaps I gain some accountability with a group of men that I care about. Perhaps I meditate to calm my mind. Perhaps I relax. Perhaps I get physical and exercise. All these different things are things that I do a lot of times when I'm under duress, under panic. But none of those things get me $2,000 back. None of those things get my family to eat. None of those things fix the immediate problem. And see, when we're in pain, so much of us wants to listen to what will be the opposite of that pain, what will immediately solve that pain, numb it, get rid of it, fix it. And if we live that way, we move into a life of lack of accountability. We stop learning to be the man that can be himself, that can live and rise to his best self no matter what adversity he feels, and we start to become a man that seeks for relief, that runs, that lives in fear, that panics, that overblows situations, that becomes erratic, becomes angry, that blames, that seeks to find the problem in others rather than the solution in ourselves. And in that, we've taken this beautiful gift of pain and we've had it make us weak. So you can't avoid pain. Life is going to give it to you. You can't avoid even tragedy. And this is the thing is we complain so much about the assault of masculinity or the dire problems that we run into. These things are going to happen. They've never not happened. They are a part of the world. They are a part of who we are. But the beauty of life is what we do with those. What we do with what we get as a human being is what we got. That's what makes us great. And you need to stop looking for greatness in your anger, in your blame, in your rage, in your confusion, and start looking for anger with what can I do with this ball of masculinity, this ball of fire that I have within myself, and create an expression that is you. And so one of those things is that what gives me the best choices of myself when I'm in pain are these things: perspective. I reach out to a group I can be accountable for. I get out of my head, I be of service. Myself being influenced so much by recovery and 12-step addiction or 12-step addiction recovery is be of service, and I share, and I get out of my head. And another thing that I'll do is I'll get into my body, because pain can be solved emotionally in my heart, but it can get trapped in this. I write about it. I process that. I don't think about it. I don't sit in my head with it. I look and examine why this pain affects me. I look at why I fear it. I look at why, if it were to stay with me forever, what would that mean for me as a man? And I examine it. And through that, I stop fearing it. And if I don't have to fear, I don't have to fight. Because fighting is something that I love, man. I train to fight all the time. And I appreciate fighting. And fighting should only be when you have to fight. I mean, that's simple. And man, I see men fighting wars within themselves, manifesting in political bullshit causes, reaching out for why they can't get the rights that they deserve instead of actually seeking those out, bitching about it online, blaming women, blaming other men. And I just don't see enough men rising to the top to show their greatest expression, because your body, your mind, your masculinity, your spirit, all has power in it. All of that has power in it. And I just don't see men finding the true nature of their power. The power in that body, the power in that mind, the power in that self. And man, that's a beautiful thing. And that's the message we pass on here. In any case, gents, it's windy. I'm not sure how the audio has turned out for this. We're getting a cold front in Austin. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna sit in the river. It's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful thing. And man, until then, we're just gonna ride it out. In any case, hopefully the audio isn't too bad with all this wind. We will talk to you guys soon.